I don't know where to start from. He has had the mic for so long.
Sorry. You will have enough time as well.
We became an audience. I'm not complaining. You have raised quite a number of issues on the matter of the economy.
Yes.
We have to be honest and realistic. The challenges that we are facing today are not limited to Kenya. They are national, they are regional, continental, and worldwide. Why? Because of three major players. The first one is the post-corona economic recession. It affected all economies in the world. The second one is the war and conflict in Ukraine. The only way you can take it for granted is if you are ignorant of the role the market in Ukraine plays in this country. Three are not entirely small. We have had the worldwide problem of negative climatic change. This country is emerging from one of the longest droughts. To manage this does not require politics. It requires people to work. I have heard over and over again, and I agree with Senator Sifuna in his anger about how we found a national treasury that did not have much. That does not worry me, because, Irungu, you'll remember, in 2002, when President Kibaki took over the country, the coffers were worse than they are today.
Correct.
But Kibaki focused on a working nation.
And he never blamed the previous administration as you do.
So we have said it enough. Yeah. We have complained enough that the coffers were looted.
Yes.
It is time to focus on work. Once we make labor dignified, yeah, everybody will be proud to do their thing. And it has been tested worldwide, including the United States of America. It is labor, giving dignity to labor, that unlocks economies. Irungu, you remember every time you go to New York, you can't miss an opportunity to go to the Rockefeller Center, where the icon of labor, John Rockefeller, said that he believed in the dignity of labor. And he said he believed that the world does not owe any man a living, but it owes every man an opportunity to earn a living. This is exactly where we came from in the campaigns when we were saying, tutapeana nafasi kwa mama mboga, kwa bodaboda, mtu mdogo, so that everybody can be proud of what they are doing.
Okay.
Now,
Doctor, upon which you will proceed, I'll give you the time. Upon which a mandate was accorded to you. But there is a dichotomy between what you said now and what you said during the campaigns, including your party leader, that was then Deputy President.
Yes.
For example, he denied that the war in Ukraine has had effect on, at the time, the economic crisis that we felt as a country. And now there is an appreciation, certainly by government, that it's having a strain on our economic management as a country. Two, you mentioned Mwai Kibaki, who had inherited, you said, even worse coffers than we are at the moment. Kibaki on a wheelchair, a very embryonic government, the first democratic after more than 24 years, because that Kenyatta was also, the senior was also the president at some point for 15 years, nearly 40 years. He never looked back and used the administration of Moi and Kenyatta as the punching bag. And that's what you have adopted at the moment, of looking back and denying the war in Ukraine, then appreciating now. I mean, this sort of flip-flopping, when does it end from Kenya's political class and focus on the right issues? You have the mandate and address issues that are of concern to the Kenyan people.
Statements are not made by political leaders or leaders in general in isolation. When that statement and position was taken on the issue of Ukraine, it was because of the prevailing debate. The debate at that time was the issue of public debt. And we were now in the national conversation of why we thought the debts we were taking were not helpful to the country. And I'm glad Senator Sifuna has spoken to the Eurobond. The Eurobond was not taken by William Ruto. The Eurobond was taken by government. And at that time, you come from the media, you know, Ruto had become a laughingstock.
Eurobond was in 2014.
Can I? The effects of Eurobond were not on the day it was borrowed.
But you said government.
Yes.
Who was the president then?
Can I?
Yes, you will finish. But just some clarity. Who was the president in 2014?
Khalwale. The 2014, we know the president was not William Ruto.
Who was
it was Uhuru Kenyatta.
Okay, when you said government, who leads government?
The president.
And who was his deputy?
And the president at that time, moved away from the constitutional provision, which provides that the presidency is the president and the deputy president, and they brought another stranger called handshake. So the handshake.
There was a 4-year span between 2014 and 18, Daktari. Just to be clear in terms of the time.
I have some little capacity of expressing myself.
Okay.
If you just allow me,
okay, go ahead, please.
I'll come out clear.
And also allow me to ask you questions.
Yes, please.
Go ahead.
So now, at this time, Ruto then became a laughingstock. In fact, the description was the stranger in his own government. So when it was rosy for them then, Ruto had to be made a stranger. But now that it looks bad, Edwin and his colleagues want to say that it was William Ruto. The problem was not 2013, 2017. The problem was 2017, 2022.
Okay,
just like in the Kibaki cycle of leadership of this country, 2002 to 2007, the country was performing. But then, when our good brother then stepped in with the so-called Nusumukate, he messed everything. Just in the same manner, when he stepped into the Jubilee government, he messed it by bringing something called handshake.
Okay, thank you. Well noted.
And history will be written.
Okay. My questions, before we need to also wind up, because we have feedback also to which we need. Dr. Khalwale, when you talk to lawmakers who are allied to the president, who expressed frustrations over state weaponization, the shrinking space within the Jubilee Party, why they formed, after they walked out en masse of the Jubilee Party to form the UDA Party. They said because of the frustration, as you have cited.
Yes.
But one thing that has been consistent in their language politically has been the first-time administration of the Jubilee government between 2013 and 17,
yes,
where they created a lot of success, including electricity connectivity, expanding the rail network in the country, the formation of the Jubilee Party in 2016, September, when they formed, to mirror what they say was the Communist Party in China. Eurobond was in 2014.
Yes.
The handshake happened in 2018. Yes. And you deliberately overlooked what happened in 2014 when the government, then you have mentioned, because the government is led by the president, the deputy president, and an array of independent institutions. So I want to understand the 4-year discount you have made between when Eurobond was taken in 2014 and the handshake happening in March 2018. And where do you lay the blame here?
The borrowing did not stop with the Eurobond. The mismanagement of public debt went on and on and on. And because our fellow legislator is here, he will tell you that debt is not supposed to be a one-man decision. In fact, the management of debt must be accompanied by a strategy that should receive approval from Parliament. We give a special paper in the budget circle called the medium-term public debt management strategy paper. Once it is approved by Parliament, then the circle goes on and on. So because of the mismanagement of that process, it was not only the Eurobond, but the other subsequent borrowings, because the strategy was then set aside and it brought us where we are. If it was a one event off, then one could have very well understand that, yes, it was the borrowing that was done in 2014.
Yes.
That would be my humble answer.